Don't underestimate
the power
of a single
conversation.
It could change your whole life.
INCRadio Chatline.
conversations that matter.
Hey everyone. Thank you for tuning in with us today on INCRadio Chatline. With the rise of social media and being able to be in everybody's business all the time, 24/7, seeing what they're up to with life. Oh, this person got engaged. Oh, this person graduated, got their degree, or they're a doctor now. There's so much being thrown at us all the time, right, EJ and Tracy? And we might feel the pressure to kind of be like, am I there? Have I missed the window of opportunity to do all these things? Have you ever felt that kind of pressure to be like, I don't think I have my life together right now. I'm just a pile of potato, a mashed potato.
All the time.
Or not even mashed potato would be the final product. I feel like
you're just a boiled potato at that point.
Just, boiled potato.
I was gonna say.
Nobody added butter yet or cream.
It's not the same. It's not savory and ready to,
It's an apology too, because not apology. Sorry, analogy. Sorry, it's an analogy too. Like because it's like you're, like you said, no one added butter yet. Yeah, you're kind of just like still at.
You're still cooking.
Rough. Yeah, like kind of like a rough phase of like, Like if you try to eat mashed potato that way, like no butter, like no nothing, it's just like just boiled potatoes. Yeah, it's not that good yet.
You're like, oh, this is kind of this is not ready.
Yeah, it's not ready yet. That's the best way to.
But that's because you're thinking about like what an actual mashed potato tastes like, because
True. That's true. That's true. That's also true. But we don't always know, right? We don't always know where we're going to end up. But have you guys felt this? Have you felt it lately? Have you felt it at a certain point in your life? Was it more prevalent when you were younger, or do you feel it more now as you get older? What are your thoughts? I know all of us are in different stages of life now, but we're still kind of in similar boats, I feel.
I feel like for me, it kind of starts in childhood. Because everybody asks you, oh, what do you want to be when you grow up? And you start thinking like, oh yeah, I guess, I want to be an astronaut or whatever. But I think for me, it really started when maybe I was in my teens, because everyone kind of has this idea of what they want their life to be. And they have all these timelines in their head. They're like, by a certain age, I'll be married. By a certain age, I'll have a family out. By a certain age, this, that, or the other thing. Because you have like, you're young, you have hopes, dreams, and, for your future, and you have plans.
That's right. Yeah. EJ, what were you gonna say?
No, that was like what Tracy was saying. Like in that it's kind of funny because like how the school system was when I was in the Philippines, and it's like a little back then before we changed. We transitioned. It's like you would be graduating at like the age of like 21. You'd be graduated college. You'd be ready to join like the workforce. And for me, in my mind, it was just like, okay, so like the time that I would be working, like I'd be married at this age. Like I imagine like at 23, I was telling myself at like, like at that age that, at 23, I'd be married. I have like a job, and everything, like I'll have life figured out at that age. Cause like I'm looking at like the people that are at that age, and like it seemed like they had everything, like it had everything figured out already. Like they know, they have they have a home, they have a family, they have a job. So
did you base it off of like just people that you saw in your life?
Yeah. It's like that, and sort of like what kind of is like like when you're going to school, and sometimes your teacher talks about life. Like society in general kind of like has that expectation of like, okay, like like this is sort of like the acceptable age to like to have it figured out.
I would even argue television, right? Like television and movies sometimes kind of depict a certain like ideal. I feel. For me, that's why I got
like,
stuff.
When you watch like movies and stuff like that, these are also like the oldest looking high school students.
Oh no, I was gonna say to Trace, it's like the high school students who have like a vacation home at like a lake somewhere.
Yeah, they're like
Like,
they live in the
It's not
Hamptons.
realistic.
I don't know about that. I don't know about that. Did you
But
feel it
it's-
more towards specific things? Were you more fixated on like I'm definitely gonna be married or I'm definitely gonna have like this type of career? Was it any particular part of your life or was it all aspects of your life that you were?
Mine's career, but I want to hear what Tracy says.
When I referenced high school, we had this project. This was in the Philippines, so this was a different time and a different place for me. But we had this like thing where we were gonna do a talk show, and we were talking about like it's like imagining yourself in the future, and they're interviewing you as yourself in the future. So at that point, I was just like what 14 or 15, I don't remember, but they're like interviewing me. Oh, how did you get here to this point in your life? Oh yeah, I like at 25 I got married and I had kids. And it's like, and I was like, and I get to 25 and I was like, well, that's not happening, isn't it? But yeah, so I think for me it's kind of started at that point when you're thinking about this and you're looking around and it's like, why isn't this happening? I had envisioned this, I had thought about it. I mean, it's not like you kind of plan for it, but it's like there's a certain expectation, not just from yourself, but just because you see it in other people that, oh, this is supposed to happen for me at this time.
For sure.
I think I told myself like when I was in I was going through high school that like we're just I kind of put it off where like I'm in the first year of high school, I don't really feel the pressure to have like figure out like what I want to do for college yet until I'm at that age where I'm like, oh, like I'm in like my last year of like high school and I still haven't figured out what I want to do like in terms of careers, what I wanted to do. So like I started going okay, like what are the things that I enjoy doing, like what are the things that I like that when I was younger it's like, okay, I want to be this, I want to be like a comic book like writer, and I didn't know the first thing about like how to publish like books in the first place. So like I for the first few years of like my college I kind of like hopped around like different what do you call those majors, yeah. Like I tried I first tried what was the first thing I did, like it has to do with like journalism.
Probably journalism.
Oh yeah, so like this was
Mass comm.
journalism. Mass comm, yeah, around that, like mass comm journalism, and then I tried doing IT. The last one I tried is like I tried doing like teaching. It's like something that I thought I would have it like figured out. Like like when I was in high school, I put it off. I was like, okay, it's like it's like I still have a lot of time to figure out what I wanted to do, but it's like it comes at you fast, and
it's kind of like you just blinked and like, oh
yeah, it's not like because when you're a kid, you kind of just see like this. Okay, I'm gonna like you set these goals that I'm gonna be this at this age, I'm gonna be this age, and you don't consider the variables that you would need to get there.
Well, I think it's okay to dream though. I
Yeah,
think
it is.
It's different to say to dream and to want those things, but then well, I think what we're speaking to more is when you feel the pressure, right? And oftentimes the pressure can come from external, like just that idea of going back to relationships, right? Tracy, for us girls, as we get older, for some reason, I don't know if it's true for you, EJ, if you felt the pressure in terms of this, but asking like, oh, do you have a boyfriend or girlfriend? Oh, or when are you planning to get married? Like those kinds of questions. I feel like that adds more to the pressure than if you hadn't had them at all. I feel like if you didn't have that external pressure, then maybe you wouldn't be so concerned about it or so conscious about it.
If it didn't happen every time you attended a family function where your auntie asks you, oh, when is this happening? And none of them are ever satisfied, from what I understand. Is that even if you were, even if you were with somebody, the next thing is like, when are you going to get married? And if you were married, when are you going to get children? So it's like nobody's ever satisfied with what's going on in your life.
no, I want to say it's funny because now thinking about it, it started off like as jokes, like maybe from like your aunts or your uncles, like like they like to tease you back then. So it's
Yeah.
like this. Oh, you have a girlfriend, and like now it's like smiling through the. They're like smiling through the teeth. Oh, when are you getting married? You're getting older now. It's like you're this age. Like for me, I'm 27. I get that question a lot more now, and it's funny because I don't even know when like when for my parents it shifted from like don't date yet, you're still like too young to okay, like do you still not have a girlfriend? It's just like I can't tell when that like transition like happened for them,
It was
but
probably like
now.
a light bulb.
Mhm.
It's
I would
like a
say I
snap of a
started
finger.
hearing it like at age 23. I'm like 27 now. It's like I still get asked that question like quite a bit, especially from like family. And I like same answer as always, like it'll happen. It'll happen at some point, I think. I hope.
And aside from family, it's extended even more so now to what I spoke to in the beginning, right? Like we are so much.
Like
I
you're
think
so connected
we're
with a
so
lot of
connected.
people. Yeah, there's like
Yeah.
this whole like global thing going on, right? I feel like because of like what you said, Tony, like with social media, and you have all these friends, right? Like all of these friends online, and you kind of see them
Mhm.
hitting all of these milestones in their lives, and it's hard. Well, I mean, of course, I'm happy for them that they're hitting these milestones, but then I think about how as I've grown older and moved to different places, I would always make friends in different places. But every so often, like within those friend groups, people are getting promoted or figuring out like some aspect of their life, or they're getting engaged. Somebody's always getting engaged, getting married, having children.
Mm.
That's how I feel. And I look at myself and I say, I feel really behind because I don't have any of these things. Other parts of my life
Mhm.
I've figured out. I mean, I hope I figured out. I think there is no such thing as figured out, period. It's like
Right.
you're continuing to figure out
Agree.
your life as you keep going. It's not like set in stone.
Agree.
Mhm.
I think also what can contribute to that too is like, when you're going to school, when you're younger, your peers, you're all kind of at the same playing level, like you're all going to school, you're all trying to, graduate, whatever it may be. But then once you go out into the world and you're starting to do all these different things, that's when you have friends. I have friends who got married like straight out of, like college, like right after they ended up getting married. And I was like, okay, great for you. But I have other friends who waited, like they waited a while before they got married. And you just see
Mhm.
these different things and what you're used to when you're younger, like everybody being the same, and then it all shifts. It's kind of like what's the like whiplash kind of. It's like, oh, like it's all of a sudden all these different things are happening when before it wasn't like that. So I think
Mhm.
that's also something that we kind of adjust to it as we grow older. There's different adjustments and seeing how things
I mean,
change
in
a bit.
terms of like missing the mark though, Tony, I do feel like sometimes, like especially when I'm sort of like in a like when you're busy and you kind of have a lot of things on your mind. Like sometimes that's when like the feelings kind of pop up. It's like when you ask yourself like, what am I doing with my life? Like
Mm,
and like for me personally, like I think of like those questions that people ask me, like like when are you getting married? It's like don't I don't even feel like I have the time for that, because I'm still trying to figure out a lot of like these different things that I thought I would have at this age that, like that I feel like I still haven't taken the first step into, like into getting it, like I'm still figuring out like the logistics of how to get there, of how to take
Mhm.
like this first step, you know and like for me that's what makes me feel like I've missed the mark. Like it's like, is this it? Like do I, like did I fail, like when do like can I press like a restart and I can just like with this knowledge that I have and just You know, just like
This sounds like
kinda
a sounds like a cartoon. My favorite genre.
yeah, like like you sometimes you kind of wish it, like you kind of wish like you can hit a restart with
Yeah,
like
can I just
knowing
reset really
everything you
quick?
know now and
Yeah.
just like just like have it all planned out better, because it's like what you said about like you're sort of like there's never a figured out stage. You're always just kind of
Mhm.
like figuring everything out, and like it's sort of like, of course we want to kind of like think of like being able to go back, like go back in a time where we had more time and we already kind of
But
like
yeah, but
figured
that's the
out
thing. Like
this
you never
phase.
really had more time. You only had the
Hmm.
time that you have right
Yes.
now too.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So I think like from what you're saying is that, I can't even begin to think about getting married because I don't have whatever, like maybe my career figured out yet. I don't
Yeah.
even know what that stable career is going to look like. And
Hmm.
like we talked about before the show started, but Tony, you said something about maybe the things that we're dwelling on is like a little bit of a signal to ourselves. It's like, okay, I think this is what something I need to focus on, because I'm thinking a lot about it, right? So for me, that's starting to have like a family because of like biological pressure, right? So for me, that's something I'm thinking about because I mean I would like to have a family at some point. Um, so that's something I'm thinking about a lot because for me, other parts of my life are not necessarily figured out, but they're kind of on a good trajectory. So career wise, I'm working full time. I feel pretty good about where I'm at my job. And then education wise, I have graduated like 2 times and I'm going to graduate a third time at this point. So I was like, okay, I
Yay!
mean, I have, I have all of these other parts of my life that are going well. And so I feel like for me, there's now space to think about, okay, I want to figure out this part of my life because I feel
Hmm.
like that's something that's, becoming more important to me, that I hope that that would work out as well because all these other parts are working out. I hope that this part also works out. So I'm trying to, I don't necessarily have more time for that, but I'm willing to make time for it because it's important to me. So I think for EJ, like you're saying, like, oh, I can't even begin to think about that because I
Hmm.
need to have like what's
Like for
valuable to
me,
me is this other
I,
part.
I I think the pressure, especially for guys, is like being able to provide, right? Like that's sort of your your responsibility, and and that's kind of like the pressure that you're kind of feeling, where it's like if you feel like you're not there yet, you're not at the point yet where you can say that you can provide. You don't feel secure enough to even think about dating in the first place, because you're like, like if I'm going to consider marriage, then I have to be ready to provide. Like of course now you can both work. You can both be working. Like two income household, but like kind of like it's you still kind of feel like, for me, I still kind of feel like that pressure that if I'm gonna get married, I have to get the career aspect figured out. Because right now I'm like jumping through like different jobs. Like because my family moves around like a lot, so the most I can stay in the job is like a year or 2 years. So it's like, for me, it's like still trying to figure out, okay, how do I find the stable stable income where I know how much I'm gonna be making for, like, let's say the next 5 years, so that I know at what capacity I can provide.
Mhm.
For the two kinds of pressure that we talked about external and internal pressure. How do you guys find yourself kind of shifting that to be able to cope with it in a way that you are actually productive and moving towards your goals? Because sometimes we can kind of put our validation in what other people may expect of us. But I like what Oslin put there in the chat, that it's always in God's time. As Christians, that's what we believe, that we all have our own paths to kind of walk. So how to somebody who's listening to this, who may be struggling with that comparison, right? Or who may be struggling with that, like that tiny like pinches of jealousy. How do you guys personally kind of rework the energy to be something more positive towards your life?
I feel like the stress can be a source of motivation because like you do need some sort of stress to kind of push you to do better. But that depends on your perspective because you can just view this whole comparison thing as, oh, they're doing so much better than me. I'm so behind and I'll just stop doing anything productive for myself. But then there's also this pressure of like, oh, they're succeeding and I admire that and I would like that for myself. I wonder what they did so that they got to this point. So I feel like for me, it's like a reframing of like your worldview and thinking about, okay, instead of feeling envious or like being jealous of somebody, like genuinely be happy for them and think about, I wonder what they did so that they got to that point. So for me, it's like constantly trying to think about reframing it and putting it in a different light, because like for me, I value achievement, right, for myself, but I recognize that being in a like committed relationship is not something to achieve, because achievement is like your own thing, like you're working towards it, but relationships are like a two-way street. It's not just you achieving it, right? Like it's two people, and that requires cooperation and work and being like understanding and being like committed to each other. So it's like a two-way street. It's not just like an achievement, like a diploma. So
Yeah.
So that's like how I think about it. It's like, okay, reframing the comparison so that it's like it pushes you to do healthy changes for yourself.
I
I
like that.
think like being real with it too, right? When you make those comparisons, because okay, this is like from personal experience. Like I've compared, like say, like someone who got married at like 25, and I'm like, oh, like you look at them, they got married at 25. I'm already 27. Like that can never be me. Like yes, that's true. That can never be me because I'm already 27.
You're past that age.
25. Yeah. Like I can't be married at 25 because I'm already past that age, and like. It's like that's what I mean. Like you look at it realistically from like your standpoint. Like yes, this is not what you envisioned at like with your smart 13-year-old mind. Like this is not what you envisioned your future to be. But like that, like now, yes, now right? Now that you're aware now that you're not where you want to be. So what are you gonna do about it then? So that's sort of like how I'm like like I'm thinking of like the comparisons, and in terms of like external too, Tony. Like you have two kinds of external. You have external that kind of inflict on yourself, so they have external in terms of like unsolicited advice.
Yeah.
From, like maybe others.
Take it in kind. That's their way of loving you.
So like you have to remind yourself again with those, like be realistic, with it. It's just like yes, you might not have these things that they're asking, like, well, why do you not still have this? Why don't you have that? Like, yes, realistically, you might not have those things yet, but, like, it's still, like, you can still do something now. Like, there's people who get married at, like, their 40s. There's people who
60.
figure out their careers. Yeah, they figure out their careers at, like, at, like, 40 years old, 30 years old, 50 years old. Like there's people who change careers at those age too. And it's not like what Tony you said earlier. It's like, and Trace as well. It's like it's not like you can have it figured out. It's always gonna be a state of figuring out, because life's always gonna throw those those challenges at those curveballs at you that you have to, you just have to keep figuring out what to do with what you have now.
And
right?
I mean,
with where
there's
you're
like
at.
we always have all these things that we want in our life. And I feel like realistically, you can have all of those things, but just not all at once.
Yeah.
There's like times and seasons where you can have that, like when you can achieve or when you can, have your hopes and dreams fulfilled, but it's not going to happen all at once and it's not going to happen overnight.
And also being aware too, asking yourself the hard question of, is that something you actually want, or do you want it because you see other people have it?
Yeah.
That's also a tough conversation that I've had to have. Like, do I actually want this, or do I want this because I see everybody else, in this thing? So you gotta have,
that blind box plushie and I want it too.
Be careful with social media. Not everything on social media. You really gotta.
It's somebody's highlight.
It's curated.
They're
Yeah,
only
it's
showing
curated,
you the best parts of their life.
Yeah. When you get married, I'm sure there's stuff that you have to adjust. When you have kids, I'm sure there's lots of stuff that you have to adjust. When you get a degree, like Tracy, if you want to get 3 different, majors, there's a lot that you have to put in there that you aren't see. Like we see people with the trophy, but we don't see the work that they have to put in to actually do that. So sometimes you won't find out until you're actually there.
Yeah,
And like
when you're in
doing
the
the work,
moment.
you're like, well, maybe I don't want this, you
Oh
know,
yeah.
but it just depends on what it is. I do want to read really quickly what Aslin messaged me privately. She said, I used to focus on things that I can do for myself, then focus on things that were not in my control. For example, when people would ask me, when are you getting married? But I couldn't get married because I wasn't even dating anyone. So I focused on my career, my goal for myself. It's hard not to compare yourself to others, but instead of comparing or being jealous, we can always use it as inspiration for us to make ourselves better. So just work on yourself. Continue to work on yourself. If one aspect of your life is not working out how you thought it might at this moment, work on other aspects of your life. Of course, don't lose yourself in just that one aspect, but just enjoy the making of. We're
Mhm.
in the making of always. Constant work in progress. So I
And
hope that
look
this
for
has been
guidance,
encouraging
right?
to everybody who has been listening to us either live or on the replay. God's timing, you're fine. Just keep doing the right things, work towards the right things, and of course, always pray, right? So this has been INC Radio Chatline. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, EJ, Tracy, and everyone who's been there in Team Live Chat commenting away. We hope that you have enjoyed the show. Thank you, everyone. We'll see you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Something big is coming. 7 days. Rizal's